Ξεκινάμε με το πρώτο μας θέμα. Ο υφυπουργός τουρισμού της Κύπρου, κύριος Σάββας Περδίος, κάλεσε τα ομογενειακά μέσα ενημέρωσης και τους ανθρώπους που προβάλλουν το τουριστικό προϊόν της Κύπρου, προκειμένου να τους ενημερώσει για την επερχόμενη τουριστική περίοδο. Κατά το δείπνο εργασίας, ο κύριος Περδιός, μεταξύ άλλων, τόνισε: «Είμαστε εδώ για δύο λόγους. Ο πρώτος είναι να κρατήσουμε την επαφή μας με τους μεγάλους ταξιδιωτικούς πράκτορες που για πολλά χρόνια στηρίζουν την Κύπρο. Ο δεύτερος για να παρουσιάσουμε στους διοργανωτές ταξιδίων που εξειδικεύονται ως επιτοπλίστων σε χειμερινά τουριστικά πακέτα το νέο μας προϊόν». Ο κύριος υφυπουργός υπογράμμισε επίσης πως για τη νέα περίοδο του 2022 η ιονή είναι καλή. Στην παρουσίασή του, μεταξύ άλλων, αναφέρθηκε στον αγροτουρισμό αλλά και στο κάμπινγκ. Στάθηκε επίσης στο ζήτημα της αναβάθμισης των υποδομών, ξεχωρίζοντας τις μαρίνες, τα καζίνο, τις εγκαταστάσεις γηπέδων γκολφ, τους ποδηλατοδρόμους και πολλά άλλα. Στο βίντεο που ακολουθεί θα σας παρουσιάσουμε ένα απόσπασμα.
Really, thanks a lot that you're here. It's very important to us. It's a bit cozy, but actually this is how we liked it. If you feel like you want to open the window at some point, please feel free, it's okay. We wanted it to be cozy because this is how Cypriots are, and this is how we eat as well. You know, a big group of people sharing food. But before we eat, there's a few things we wanted to tell you about Cyprus. A lot has changed in Cyprus over the last 18 months, and it's not just the fact that we had to deal with the pandemic. As you can see from the screen, the title of today's presentation is not repositioning, but repurposing Cyprus tourism. Because when you talk about repositioning, it's a marketing product. And what we're doing is not about a marketing product. It's about something much deeper than that, much more important. And we are repurposing because we realize that we need to be looking at tourism in Cyprus from a holistic point of view. It's no longer about only getting in arrivals, only getting in revenues. No, there is a social aspect to tourism, and this is what we're trying to do. So this is the message that we wanted to convey. You will see why or how through the presentation. And another thing I wanted to say before we start is that, you know, when this pandemic started, I heard a lot of countries and tourism ministers say that they want to build back better. Everybody has been saying that. And we made it our focus as a Ministry of Tourism in Cyprus, not only to talk the talk. We wanted to walk the walk. And it's very important that this message comes out of everything you're going to see today. Bear with me. We will need around 45 minutes. If you're really hungry, I can ask for something to come now. But I think it's going to be an interesting presentation. And actually, we divided in three parts. The first, especially for those of you who are professionals in the tourism industry, is a little bit theoretical, but it's very short at the same time. We want to talk a little bit about the future of travel, what the pandemic has brought about to travel. And then, by looking at that, we will be able to understand better what Cyprus has done to be ready for the new normal of travel. This is very important. You can't claim to take steps forward unless you understand what is changing. And part 3, we want to talk a little bit about our new tourism identity, because we've changed that as well. So we go straight into part 1. And we've defined the future of travel as depending on these 4 things now. People traveling with a purpose, people looking at nature for their travel. We see also niche tours, activities and events. I'm sure you all know this, specialists. And of course we see fast-changing booking practices. I will give you a few examples of each. What does traveling with a purpose mean? I mean, and I start from the top, clockwise. First of all, when people are traveling, they try to travel in a way that is inclusive and diverse. People are looking for destinations now that are inclusive, that show diversity. And this is very important. At the same time, they want their holidays to be immersive and connective. They want to be immersed into the local community. They want to connect with the locals. It's not enough to just go somewhere, say, yes, now I'm by the beach, I'm in the hotel, and that's all I want to do. No, I want to be a part of the local community. See what the locals do, see what they eat, see where they go. This means that they're also looking for authentic and personalized experiences. Nobody wants to have an experience that millions of other people have had. Everybody wants something for themselves, something that they're going to keep forever. Of course, and I'm sure you've noticed, people take less trips, but extended stays now. Because maybe they're traveling once or twice a year in the middle of a pandemic, they choose to stay a little bit longer. And that's important for Cyprus as a destination, because if people are staying longer, they need more things to do. Hence, one of the reasons why we're here to present all of these things today, what we've done. The trend of working from anywhere is very important. And again, if people are going to be coming to Cyprus for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months with their families, they need more things to do. They need more experiences. And huge, you all know that, climate conscious holidays. This is also part of traveling with a purpose now. And it's going to grow more and more and more. As people hear about countries going to net zero by 2050, this is something that is going to stay in their minds. So these are examples that we believe traveling with a purpose points to. The second big trend we see is a move towards nature-based travel. And starting from the top again, it means that nature is becoming one of the primary reasons for selecting destinations, for selecting facilities. People are looking for more outdoor adventure experiences and more nature-sensitive products. What does this mean? You have a plate of food, you want to ask, where is this olive oil from? Who is growing these tomatoes? Which vineyard is this grape coming from? And as a result, we have a very holistic approach to living and wellness, and they move, I would say, more towards slow travel. So this is something that Cyprus needs to take into consideration going forward. And this is something that we have moved towards over the last 18 months. In terms of niche tours, activities, and events, obviously these are examples that many of you have come across. We've seen that people now are looking for micro tours, maybe sometimes with personalized guides to avoid crowds. Maybe self-guided tours, even with digital means to guide them, artificial intelligence, etc. Events which are hybrid, that means physical and digital. Team building is also changing. People are working from home, mostly. This means that maybe they are not going to be able to go for a social drink as often as before. So maybe companies will want to take employees on holiday to a destination, to a hotel, secluded from everybody else. This is also something that we need to take into consideration. And finally, I'm sure you have seen this, less advanced planning. You cannot book today for 9 months down the road. So much more last minute. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the fast-changing booking practices. And we've seen, at least as a destination, many more individual bookings this year, which is good, gives us a different clientele. A lot of that is flexible and last minute. We see a lot of accommodation only and BB, believe it or not. Doesn't mean that all-inclusive is going away. It's there, it's a product, but more people are now looking at accommodation only and BB because they want to discover the destination. A lot of packaging is dynamic. You as agents and operators, you see that. It's not so much about having fixed rates with airlines. You get what you find, you sell, and it's dynamic. And this is how it will continue. Here in light blue, we talk also about 65 plus segment. This is a segment that was not immersed digitally before. Now they are. They've been trained in how to use all this digital technology. They've been stuck at home for such a long time. So we need to keep this in mind. It may no longer be enough to use physical agencies to penetrate that market. We need to be digital in that market as well, not just the younger generations. And finally, because we miss each other so much, VFR, visiting friends and relatives, is more important than before. And we all know, I think, that business travel will come quite later. So this, in a nutshell, is what has changed in travel for the last 18 months. Stuff that has been coming. I think we've all seen this coming, but the pandemic has really given everything a push. This brings us to what Cyprus has been doing for the last 18 months in order to be on top of the ball when it comes to all these changes. And I would say that there are 4 major things we've done. The first is an integration of our main tourism product with the rural communities as well. I'll explain later what this means exactly. We've made a lot of infrastructure improvements, especially when it comes to special interest. Not forgetting our main product, which has been Sun and Sea for the last few years, but we have nevertheless been undergoing a lot of infrastructure improvements for special interest, for the winter. The third thing we've been doing, we're using funds from the EU in order to make our tourism sector much more competitive than it was, more resilient. I'll explain to you how we will be using that money. And then the fourth thing that we have done, we have taken the decision to launch 12 designated and specialized product labels so that customers and also professionals like yourselves are able to identify with Cyprus more than before. So, talking about rural tourism, we have a vision to put tourism at the heart of our local communities. And we're doing that in 5 ways, and I start again from the top. We're drafting a law now that allows people to stay in farms and wineries. This was not allowed before. Whereas other countries have had this, this was not something that existed in Cyprus. I think it's a product that is great, and we need to have this. So the law is being finalized now. Second, we're drafting a law to categorize camping facilities, and this means glamping as well. Glamping is a combination of camping and glamour, where people have luxury tents with luxury facilities. So we are adding that as well as we speak. The law is being finalized. The third thing we've done, we're drafting a law again that allows the home production of Cyprus delicacies. A grandmother or a grandfather can make halloumi at home. It can be certified by us. You can go there and see how this is made. Taste it. Get taught. Take it home with you. As a ministry, we have also sponsored handicraft workshops. Next year, we're spending €500,000 putting on workshops that are free of charge for the customer. This means that you're able to go to a workshop, see how we make traditional flutes, traditional chairs, artisanship, and again, it's an experience which is very authentic and something that you will remember for life. In terms of infrastructure, and this is very interesting, there's a lot on this slide, but bear with me. I start from the top left. If you're hot, by the way, feel free to open, as I said. Talking about marinas, we have 2 world-class marinas now. Also, we have renovated our port, and we have been able to attract massive cruise lines like Royal Caribbean to Cyprus for the first time. Royal Caribbean has had a home port this year for the first time ever. That home port is going to continue in the next few years. It puts us on the map for international travel, even from the US. In green, I'm referring to the casino. It's an integrated resort. It opens in summer 22. And it's not just a place for gaming, it's also a place where it has a world-class conference center, golf courses, theater, and facilities like these Michelin-starred restaurants. So it's a resort in Limassol that is really going to add a lot to our product. I think it will give us the chance to attract even more specialized interest tourism. The third, at the top, we have set up villages for Christmas. I will say a bit more about that soon. In light blue, PGA Tour golf events. So from next year for 3 years, we are hosting in Cyprus a world-class golf event called the Cyprus Open, part of the European PGA Tour. A first in Cyprus. This has not happened before. In gray, we are upgrading and renovating shelters in the forest or cabins in the forest for backpackers and long-distance bikers. This is very important because we give people the chance to spend a night in the forest, in the nature. In orange, you see the phrase diving centers. We've renovated a lot of these. And later on, I will show you a video of one of the top diving centers in the world right now. Recently opened in Cyprus just a few months ago. In blue, you see biking and hiking facilities. We are bringing to Cyprus next year for 3 years the Tour de France. It is the biggest biking event in the world. And a sub-event created by them called L'Étape by Tour de France is taking place in Cyprus for the first time. And that will take place 2022, 2023, 2024. This is massive for us. At the same time, we're doing a lot of work to improve our hiking trails. I'll speak a bit more about that later on as well. In purple, you see that we are upgrading our beach facilities. What does this mean? We are sponsoring as a ministry the replacement of plastic sunbeds or plastic umbrellas with natural ingredients. Not ingredients, natural materials, exactly. Sorry about that. So wood, straw, etc. Sustainable materials. And actually, we opened the first plastic-free beach in Cyprus a few months ago. Very, very important. People are asking for this.
Ολόκληρη την ομιλία της παρουσίασης του υφυπουργού τουρισμού της Κύπρου θα μπορέσετε να την παρακολουθήσετε προσεχώς στην εκπομπή με το φακό του Hellenic TV.